Hey you guys, I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video, and I apologize for that. Probably the last time I did one was before the holidays, and I was hoping to do a lot more videos of sort of, the last time we had seen Class Wars and Titan War and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, I got really sick over the holidays, which seems to be a recurring theme for me in the past years. But this time was actually pretty bad, and I'm doing a lot better now. I'm really okay, and there's not much to worry about at this point. But it was a little bit of a scare, and now I'm doing better. So I think I'm pretty free over the next few months, and so I'll try and get some more videos out. So I definitely am sitting on quite a bit of PvP footage within the 2017 period. So since this recent new season of PvP events have come along, I have quite a bit of footage. I'm not going to be doing Imperial War because I think it's stupid, and Venus War I'm still trying to figure out, or not Venus, not Venus War. Okay, I mix up Venus Battle and Athena War together for some reason. I think because they're sort of like similar sylphs, or whatever it is. The vocabulary is killing me. But Athena War, I have maybe only one recording of. It's a little bit more difficult for me when I'm dual boxing. So I dual box myself and my new spouse in the game, which of course I end up dual boxing my spouse's tune again. But I think Alan might be back at some point. He was really active and caching for quite some time, and has dropped off the map for at least in recent history. But sometimes he does get busy and is away for a week or something like that. So we'll see. Maybe he'll show back up again. But at least for now, it's a little bit difficult to record that one, just because I have him in a different fight than myself, and so one recording, two tunes, two different fights is a little bit hard. Imperial War is just dumb, so like why bother showing that? And then Venus Battle I can record more easily because even though I'm dual boxing Alan and myself, it's in the same fight, so the footage looks more cohesive. So we'll see how that goes, but I will just try and have more videos out soon. And of course, probably in my guess, I'm not gonna make any promises, but like within another month or so, we're gonna be seeing more new patch stuff. So I'll do videos from the test server once that comes up again. Of course, whenever Cosmos and I have a chance to give you guys information, we will. But otherwise, I take requests as far as what you guys want to see. I'll try and do a tune overview. I've gone into BG, into Battleground once in a while recently, and it's been pretty fun. I've had some pretty good fights, so maybe that's something that I can do again. I used to do a lot of Battleground fights or a lot of Battleground videos, but in recent history with the card bonuses and just how it was set up, I felt like it was not as interesting as it used to be. So yeah, whatever you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll try and work it out. But for now, lots of PvP, and I think Aries War is really pretty interesting. For one thing, it combines all of the classes, so we're no longer separated by mages, knights, and archers. And we also have these skills, these randomized skills. At the beginning, you saw me picking them out, and I think they sort of spice things up. My guildies seem to sort of have mixed opinions about them at the beginning when they were first. When we were first seeing the event, but I think they've come around to it. I think they sort of spice things up. If you use them well, they can be really to your advantage and help you beat people that I think you otherwise in a completely even fight would not defeat. And also if you use them poorly, you can really get screwed over. And if you if you're not smart about what you're doing, you can sort of just kick yourself. So I think that makes it more fun, and at least for me, especially when I'm not as strong against some of these players anymore, it's definitely a good thing. By all means, I still have a cacher tune in the sense that it's far ahead of the vast majority of players. At the time of this video, this particular Aries War, which is the first of the season, so the first Aries War of the January 2017 sort of winter season, this is the first one, and I'm not in the top 100 by BR. And I think for the week or two after this, I'm still not going to be a top 100 player. But by now, I've been playing more. I dropped a little. I definitely recharged recently over the Lunar New Year sales and stuff. Oh, there's my huge loss to Erico. My very fast loss to Erico, getting one shot. That is brutal. So yeah, so I recharged during that period, and I'll just sort of spread that out over the year, getting, VIP cards and whatever, little other stuff that I might want. But you're not going to do anything too crazy. But I think those recharges were pretty good with all of the stones that they were giving for tattoo engraving and also smelting stone. So those were really nice, and so that should cover me for a very long time. And so yeah, so from that gave me a huge boost, and so I'm back in the top 100. So probably a few videos after this, we'll see my toon in pretty good shape. Otherwise, the skills that I have, starting from the left going to the right, the first one is to get rid of positive buffs for my opponent, and then the second one is my personal favorite, which is minus 2,000 awakening points to my opponent. So if you time that well, you can really screw over your opponent. There's definitely a few different ways that you can use it well. I would say don't be too greedy. Sometimes, which I say this because I've done it several times in this event, which is really wanting to use it at a particular time and ending up, not defending myself well enough and getting hurt because of it. So really, use it at the first opportunity that is a good one. And then the last of my little extra skills, the randomized ones, is a plus 80 rage, which is not that great. So for me, what I do is I flip through, and if I can get the minus 2,000 rage to my opponent, I pretty much just stop there. And I try and make the other ones work, use them where I can, but otherwise the minus 2,000 awakening points is my favorite. Oh, and there's another person who pretty much one-shot me. I was maybe a little bit under full health, but yeah, that's there's a bunch of those. I think in the first week of any of these events where the point system is sort of like arena, but the drawing system is still, I don't know what sort of analogy I can make. It's actually sort of like crossover GB, where they basically just line everybody up by BR and then pair you off. So that setup is not great for me, at least for a while. So my points will drop against these really tough players, and then I'll get an easier opponent, and it'll sort of just go back and forth between really tough opponent and easier opponent for a while. So I saw less of that than I did in like the original Venus battle setup than I do here, but there's still a bit of that, of just feeling like there are people who absolutely crush me and people who are not very competitive with me, and I guess that's gonna happen in an event like this. But yeah, so eventually you get grouped off into like iron, silver, gold, and whatever they're called. All the events have like a different way of calling each of those groups, which I find sort of obnoxious. If they could stay consistent, I would probably, have fewer speaking errors in these videos. But yeah, no such luck in that department. So here, I think I just make it. Oh, that's nice. So the Q really saved me there, and so timing that well, when you're desperate to be able to negate an attack, I mean, that's a great time for a Q. Actually, that's not my favorite time to use a Q. I think the best times to use the Q, which will negate exactly one hit. Not just one attack, but only one strike from any attack. And then return you some HP depending on how much damage that deals. I think it's better when your opponent is in Sylph mode. Sylph Delphics are huge, so if you can block one of those, that's great. But also because when your opponent is out of Sylph mode, so in class mode, their Sylphs will do these tiny little attacks, which can ruin everything. And so you definitely don't want to use it while the kids are in play, because the kids are harder to figure out when they're going to attack, and you're very likely to get hit by one of the kids and not be able to use that Q against a really big hit from your opponent. But when they're in Sylph mode, it's a little bit more controlled of an environment. You won't have those tiny hits, and so you're more likely to be negating the skill that you want to negate. or the attack that you want to negate, and so I like it more when they're in Sylph mode. Just personally, I've been in a battleground fight recently, and I was against a knight, so very dangerous for me because they deal so much physical defense. And they were about to do the big Knight Delphic in class mode, and I thought I had blocked it with my Q skill, and then I'm pretty sure that his Sylph just did one of these tiny little attacks, so I pretty much didn't heal at all, and I got hit with this huge Knight Delphic, and it was totally wiped out. And so that can be really problematic. So being able to know exactly what skill you're getting rid of, or attack that you're getting rid of, is helpful for the Q. So that's an ideal situation. Sometimes you just need to throw it out there because you want to save your ass. So that's that. What am I doing here? I was going for the heal rune. I was about to say I should just shield. I don't know why I didn't, but I was just trying to stay aggressive and kill her. Also been trying to change up my outfits. I was such a creature of habit with outfits, and I still have things where I really prefer them, but I have been trying to change it up once in a while because I know you guys previously have been like, you need to change your outfit, and I had it pretty good for a little while, and then so anyway, this is what I'm going with right now. I think it looks pretty good, with the Frost Elk stuff, and I think in more recent history I changed it up so that Alan and I would be sort of matchy, so we'll see that at some point. Anyway, I got really bored one day and was flipping through outfits. I think there's one, darn, did I record it? I had one Athena War where I probably had a different outfit every single fight because in between fights I was just changing it up. So if you guys have any particular outfits you want my tune to wear, also can do that. If you want to see all of my, make sure definitely in the comments if I have a tune overview coming up and you guys have certain stuff that you want to see on the tune. Let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make sure that I cover those things. I know it's been such a long time since I've done one, so definitely let me know what you guys want to see. And there's too many things to the game at this point that I'm sure there's something that I'll always miss, but try and get it right for once. Also the names, even though I'm still in the same crossover section, it doesn't feel like it's changed that much. I do feel like the names are throwing me off. I used to be able to be like, okay, I know exactly who's going to completely ruin me and just wipe me out. And now I think because I'm less familiar with the players, some top players, they sort of drop off. B is obviously still a really strong tune and still stays competitive, but there are some other top players who have sort of either stop caching or, more like me, sort of just started taking a seat back, so their tunes aren't as strong. But then there are other players who find their way to replace them and just hit so hard, and I don't really recognize it. So sometimes at the beginning I can be a little bit too soft, not protect myself enough, and get really screwed over. So yeah, definitely this first Aries War was sort of a learning process. And getting a feel for the PvP. This is during the time of this video, I think this is the only second time I've done Aries War at all. So there is some getting used to the gameplay. Well, here's Flash, which I bet he has similar VR to myself. That would be my impression. Uses that Time Titan. Time Titan is interesting. I've been using it more recently, but definitely in the first few videos I'm going to be showing you guys, I don't use it. I've actually been using it in Battleground. Not that I do Battleground a lot, but at least lately I'll do it like one a day, maybe once in a while, which is about as good as it gets with Battleground. I know why I stopped doing Battleground before. It is actually because I was so discouraged about how much honor I needed. So I got to the point where I have like a rank 6 medallion, I think, and the honor needed for the rank 7 medallion was so horrific that I was just like, well, screw it. I'm just not going to be bothered anymore. It's too hard to get. But now I'm sort of chipping away at it. I do try and get medallions where I can. I think there's one event where you can actually trade for medallions in the exchange, and actually that helps more than I thought it would. It's not as trivial as I thought it would be. I think it might be the Athena War shop because it's sort of the analogous to Titan War. So I think that one has the Truncheons and medallions. Yeah, I'm still nowhere close, but I'm at least making an effort again. Um, but yeah, so over the holidays I wasn't really able to play on my computer as much, so pretty much only my mobile games have kept up. So pretty much just my Final Fantasy. Oh, there goes my headset. That's nice. Well, sorry for that. And yeah, so my Final Fantasy Brave Exvius account is still doing all right, but Wartune sort of took a hit for a while, so we're recovering now, and looking pretty good. Actually, I feel pretty good about the tune. I still like my tune a lot as far as how it's set up and everything. You know, if somebody wants to loan me 500,000 physical defense, that would be great. Not loan, just give. Really, that would be fantastic. But otherwise, still pretty happy with it. I think these last few fights actually turn out a little bit on the easier side. I don't know if that's because, you know, it's sort of hard to see the rankings in this one. Are they on the left? There's one of the events where you don't get to see your rankings at all until the end. But maybe in Aries War, actually, you do get to see the rankings. And I think maybe, you know, some of the top players end up bumping up to the next group. Like, they get enough points to go into, you know, the silver group or whatever it is. And so then the pool of opponents in the iron group tends to be a little bit easier. So maybe that's what happens toward the end. But at the beginning, man, things were really rough. There we go, big hit. You know, the reduced res, the attack stats are so high, and the resistances are so mediocre, and so, you know, not that great. You know, most people don't have enough talent points. For sure, I don't, to have, you know, full resistance bonuses. So I have full bonus on my reduced res, and I think I'm, like, level 4 on most of the other resistances. But I don't have enough points to really, you know, have crazy good resistances. I don't know how much they do these days anyway. I mean, you need resistances, but it seems like, you know, even when you have a ton, people are still hitting super hard. So is that the last one? Are we wrapping up? Oh no, we got one more to go. Against Singe, I definitely, at this point, I have a BR advantage against Singe. I usually do, but for a while it felt like she was really giving me more trouble in class wars and things like that. As far as setting up the Titans, you know, I change them around a little bit over time, but I think this early Moon Titan is super necessary for Aries War, just because the opponents are so tough that it can get pretty nasty. In situations where I have some help, you know, like in Athena War, where I would have the help of a knight in my party, and they'll throw a shield and maybe protect the group, then maybe I'll use something else. But even then, I like the Moon Titan. It protects my kid a little longer to make sure that I can get those heals out. Sometimes the sub U-Demon is so weak that it doesn't really pan out. But usually my main U-Demon, the Battle Oracle, can definitely get a heal or something helpful out if I use that Moon Titan. So here, you know, I thought I wasn't gonna scrape into the top 100, but I did manage. So I was number 72 it says in novice, which I think is sort of confusing. I'm not totally sure what my overall rank was. I might show it here. Yeah, so I mean, out of this stuff, if you need the fate stuff, that might be helpful. Maybe will crystals, but you get so few points in this that you can barely exchange for anything. So I just get a few books of wisdom and call it a night. I don't really do this because of the rewards. I do it mostly just because it's fun to PvP. So yeah, that's all there is to it at the moment. Oh, I didn't catch who was first. Oh, it's Trinity. That's expected. Big Bailey, Enchantress. So the very, very top names are familiar. And then, oh, and B. So right now she changes her name so much. Is Nitnot. So she's the only person who made it into a class up. So congrats to her. But anyway, so I'll be doing this. I'll try and cover as many weeks as I can. You know, sometimes I'm gonna miss something. You know, something comes up over the weekends. But otherwise, I'll try and cover what I can. So plenty more to come, you guys. And thanks for watching. Take care and have a very good day.